I got placed at Hike founder's office. Usually they have 5 rounds, but I would say I had almost 7-8 calls with them, and we went through P&L of my business. He wanted to judge, I think, my understanding of a business, because I'm entering a very crucial role in the company. So my understanding of a business should be as perfect as it gets. Then finally went with the final call with the HR and received the offer within 2 hours of confirmation. We were told to follow the global way of placements and map our skills, our aspirations with, and figure out 5 different companies that we want to apply to, and that happens on day 1. And that's I also started my journey to go through the global way of placements and use Indian way of placements as a backup.
Hi everyone, I am incredibly excited for a story that's going to unfold today. I'm here with one of our current students, Vibhor, and he's been an application developer at Accenture. Then he left that job to join his family business, which manufactures primary packaging material for edible oil, and the demand for that shot up during COVID. So he joined his family business to support the increase in demand. From there, he decided that he needs to upskill himself, and that kind of peer-to-peer learning is something that he was craving. So he applied to multiple business schools, was more focused to schools in Canada and UK. In fact, he had an offer from Imperial. He had an offer from British School of University of British Columbia. But he finally chose to do his MBA from Masters Union here in India itself, to discovering his passion for Web3 and gaming industry, and to finally cracking an offer in the founder's office at Hike. So I'm very excited to hear the entire story and the journey behind getting this incredible offer, Vibhor. Welcome.
Absolutely thrilled. Thank you so much for inviting me.
It is my pleasure. And the reason why we're doing this podcast is that Vibhor has been able to convert an incredible offer with Hike. I'm sure a lot of you already know about Hike. If not, Vibhor will tell about it in a bit. But and the beautiful thing is that he got this offer completely off campus. And he has his own journey of how he reached out to the HR, etc., which we'll discuss. So I am super excited to hear your story, Vibhor. But before we jump into the actual the outcome, which is the offer, etc., would love to know your story. What's been your childhood like? Where do you come from? Like, what's your story, Vibhor?
So I was born, brought up in Delhi, in a middle class family. Did my schooling in Delhi itself, at Vivekanand School. And his words, Swami Vivekanand's word, arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is achieved, has always stayed with me. Right. And then I moved to Manipal University, Jaipur, did my engineering there, spent good 4 years of my life in Jaipur, had a lot of fun, a lot of hard work as well. Then joined Accenture for a while as a software developer, and transitioned into my family business. What
do they do? What does your family do?
Yeah, so we are into we manufacture primary packaging for edible oil industry.
Okay, interesting.
So like a good shift from tech to manufacturing.
Right.
And came with a lot of learning, right? Because essentially tech and manufacturing does not align with each other. And manufacturing has its own set of challenges, learnings, and all of that. And then after I came here, Masters Union happened.
Interesting. And what made you think that, from Accenture, you want to get into your family business? How was that decision? And then from your family business, what made you even apply for a master's?
So there are a couple of reasons why I moved from Accenture to my family business. One was purely, circumstance-based, situational. COVID had happened, and, at that point of time, my family needed support. And we had double the demand in my family business, and because we were manufacturing for FMCG sector,
of course,
and at that point of time we needed to expand, right? Because there was a lot of demand for oil, edible oil, and our factory did not close even for one day.
Wow.
Right, so we were on our feet. We doubled our workforce within a week.
Oh my God! Wow.
Right,
okay.
And all of that had to be done. My dad could not do it alone without support, right? So you have to train the labor also that everyone has to wear a mask, wear a face shield, and you have to be there on ground with all of them.
Correct.
Just to make sure that edible oil is reaching across India.
Right.
So that was always in mind that we spent days from 7 a.m. to 4 a.m. in night
Oh my
at the
God.
factory
Wow.
just to make sure that we are meeting the demand. We in fact, installed a couple of machines additionally
Mm.
just to expand our production.
That's incredible. And I remember during lockdown time, because a lot of people were cooking a lot of food, right?
Yeah.
Because people were at home. So definitely I can imagine the edible oil reaching them is a very critical part of the puzzle. And did you guys have any challenge where, the workforce internally, someone had COVID? So you said because they didn't shut down the entire lockdown. So how did you guys manage all the restrictions, etc. then, and making sure there's no contamination within the workforce and with the food that you guys are, or the edible oil that you guys were churning out?
Yeah, absolutely. No, we had strict rules in our
Mm.
factory as well. Everyone has to be sanitized. The whole factory will be sanitized 2 times a day. Specifically trained them. We'll have, of course, social distancing would be followed. All of that processes, and we, in fact, the government was very supportive
Mm.
for all the permissions and all.
Right.
And there were times, when the truck would be stopped at a border, and we would have to go personally to talk to them, just to let go.
Mm.
So yes, there were these challenges as well, but I think in workforce as well, some people got COVID,
Mm.
but then were immediately shifted to a facility,
Mm.
and we made sure we paid all the expenses, took care of them, because they have been with us for more than 15 years now,
Wow.
right? So it was like the whole workforce is like a family for
Of
us.
course. And they were going out of their way also to make sure that demand's getting met. So that's incredible. And when did you first start feeling that, now it's time to upskill myself, or,
Right.
do an MBA after your manufacturing business?
So almost 2 years into the business, we were already doing pan India.
Mm.
Right. The next step, either for us was to go global.
Okay.
Right. And to do that, you need to convert that traditional setup into an MNC or a corporate setup. And I come from a tech background, right? I'm an engineer. So I had no business skill per se. And similarly for my dad and my mom also, both of them are not graduates in business, right?
Mm.
So that's where we needed that shift. And I realized that the delta of my personal growth, right, that peer-to-peer learning was sort of reducing. Right? And that's when I decided that, I should upskill myself, and probably because I took that circumstantial decision from tech to manufacturing, I thought, why not, restart my own journey and see, where it goes.
Very interesting. So once you realized that, yes, I need more of that peer-to-peer learning and I want to upskill myself, and especially with that global vision that you had for your father's and family business. So then what next from there? How did you shortlist on what schools? How did you get to know about Masters Union? Was Masters Union the only school you applied to, or tell us the story behind that?
Very interesting story. So I discovered about Masters Union, I think, when the first cohort was launched.
Okay, interesting.
Right. And I came across this post on Mad Over Marketing page on Instagram. And I was like, this seems pretty interesting, all the practitioners teaching. And they were taking people from family business as well. So I went on to the website, registered also, just to check what's the application process like, but did not apply. I did not go ahead because I was like, I've just stepped into family business and we have to, do all of that. COVID was going on, and I wanted an in-person learning experience. 2 years down the line, I decided to, now it's the time to do an MBA. So I started applying to foreign universities. I did not apply to any Indian university except Masters Union, because just wanted to go through that process, and it just excited me, the course itself, the masters coming here. So I actually applied to universities in Canada, UK, got a couple of offers from Imperial University London.
Fantastic.
And University of British Columbia, right, and Masters Union, obviously. Then there was this point wherein I had to decide which one to go for. Right? Then there were multiple factors, including ROI, masters, course, practical learning, all of that, which made me decide, that I will join Masters Union.
Wow, that speaks a lot about the school being able to attract top talent like yourself, who had 2 other great offers and decided to stay back in India because you were probably getting the same or the quality of education that you were looking for, or that master's connect that you were looking for, that seemed to have been fulfilled here. Interesting. So tell me about your master's union journey. Once you knew that yes, this is the school that I want to go to, what then? And how did you use your time before master's union, after you got accepted, and then during master's union?
I think I'm someone who's, curious by nature, who would want to exploit every opportunity that he gets, right? So whatever Masters Union offer you ample amount of opportunities. Specifically, the way the course is designed, wherein we have in-class components and out-class component, the challenges that we do practically. So I utilized each of those opportunity, right? And what is mitochondria? Powerhouse.
I don't know.
Powerhouse of a cell.
Okay.
So I think Masters Union is a powerhouse of ideas, right? I had very little or few ideas, that this is I want to do, or that is what I want to do. But when I came to Masters Union, it sort of, pushed me out of my comfort zone and gave me challenges which helped me, work on myself. And I used to come up, I still now do come up with a lot of ideas. Like every single week I'll spot a gap, I'll spot some lag, and we'll come up with an idea to solve it. I think that's what Masters Union does the best. I think in our cohort itself we have 40 different startups going on under VIP, and each one of them are brilliant. I mean, I'm just blown away by the quality of ideas that our students are able to come up with. It is phenomenal.
So that's a loaded answer, okay? And there's a lot going on, it seems. And I would love to just narrow down and maybe double click on some of these. So when you said the in-class component and the out-class component, what is that? And how did, what's this VIP thing that's going on? And then you're saying that you have 40 startups running in. What's happening exactly?
Yeah, let's start from the beginning then.
Sure.
We usually don't have, classes as such. We have industry practitioners coming in teaching us. And
tell me some of your favorites who've come this cohort.
I love Nitin Gaud, who's the IBM Blockchain Lab founder. And he has taught us blockchain cryptocurrency.
Okay.
Then there was Shad Morris came just now, who taught us effective team building.
Okay.
Right. So imagine someone from Microsoft coming in, teaching you product management and giving you problems that they face at Amazon with a product. Right. And you work on those. And if they'll give you live feedback, what is working,
real problems that they're facing in their workplace. So it's very cutting edge challenges, very, very here and now.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So we don't have exams as such. We have projects, live cases, to work on.
Okay.
That gives you a very practical experience in a class.
I see.
So those are our in-class components. Now coming to out-class components, in the first term we had a dropshipping project, right?
Okay.
So all of the students were compulsorily made to run a dropshipping business.
What was your business?
Yeah, I will come to that. Just to double click on dropshipping. Yes. In 6 weeks, right, we had to figure out a product, figure out a vendor, build a supply chain, build a website, run ads, and make revenue from real users, right? So within that 6 weeks, our cohort was able to, as a cohort of 160, we were able to reach a revenue of more than 2 CR. Right? That speaks in itself the quality of students that are coming in and the ability to execute.
And you had just 6 weeks for that?
6 weeks to do that.
Wow.
And personally for me, we started with a homegrown coffee aggregator brand, which we realized in 2 weeks that this will not work. Okay. Because their turnaround time to sign a contract is more than 3 months.
Oh, wow.
Right, we built a website, we did all the branding, and then we realized that this is not going to work. And after that, we shifted to a premium clothing label brand. And we did that for next 4 weeks and made a good revenue.
Interesting. So the beauty is that, you are getting to work on your profit and loss statements, all the accounting, best practices that you would probably read about, or, your professors would have taught you. Then your supply chain, operations, building a really fancy UI UX website, etc. So all of that you did in that compressed 6 weeks time to actually then deliver.
Yeah, you learn negotiation, stakeholder management,
right?
Leadership,
working as a team. Yeah, team management also. Wow. Okay, that's a lot of learning in that live project that's happening. Interesting. And tell me about other things that you spent your time doing while you were here.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we moved on to Creator Challenge later
Hmm.
on, wherein, all of us realized the power of digital marketing and personal branding.
Sure.
So a lot of us starting, writing on LinkedIn, build a
Hmm.
personal brand.
Hmm.
I also started at that time and realized that this is actually working for me,
Hmm.
right? We would
And you were
get-
not writing on LinkedIn before this?
No, absolutely not.
Wow. Okay.
So if you would look at my LinkedIn, it's completely revamped and looks very professional.
Hmm.
And that is only because, when I came to Masters Union, we were groomed in a certain way that,
Hmm.
this is all you should do to build your personal brand.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. Interesting. Okay. And then the YouTube channel also, you created content there?
Yes, absolutely. So we chose Instagram as our platform,
Hmm.
and we learned marketing through that, how to do digital marketing for your for any of the accounts, right? So imagine you would be running a business one day, right?
Hmm.
Then you're learning digital marketing then and there, and
Hmm.
like imagine if you have, let's say, 10K followers on your personal brand, and you
Right.
start a business, right? So you have 10,000 visitors to that
On day
business
one.
on day one,
Correct.
right? So that is the
Interesting.
beauty of it.
Interesting. And before, I remember you were also very active in the community, because I used to see you around with every team
Yeah,
possible.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
you were
yeah.
involved with the admissions team.
Yeah.
There was some Kenny and Sebastian had come in.
Yeah.
Then you were also part of the PlaceCom. Then
Yeah.
you were also part of organizing events. Like, tell me how you did all of it, and tell me what all you did yourself. Like, this is part of the course, of course, like
Yeah.
the things that you were telling before this.
Yeah.
But outside of course, it seemed like so much more was happening for you.
Absolutely. I think there's too much. There's too much to remember. As you mentioned, we also built a Web3 community called the Third Block community. So me and Abhishek started this community. So both of us have some background in Web3 from before. So we, thought of creating a public forum for non-tech folks, just to educate them. That's it. And what Masters Union helps you with is, it exposes you, it gives you that opportunity to learn Web3. We are being taught by, as I talked about, Nitin God, Anuj Gar, who works at Zeppay. Next term, Shiv Mehta is coming to teach us crypto entrepreneurship.
Fantastic.
And imagine this, we had a blockchain hackathon. Everyone in the cohort has a MetaMask wallet, right? That's a wallet, blockchain wallet, and everyone has minted their own NFTs.
Oh wow.
And sold them.
Fantastic. Like, people now at least know how to mint NFTs. Like, I've read about it, but I've never done it myself. I think I'm going to take you up on that.
Yeah. We did all of that in 2 days.
Oh my God.
All 163 of us
Yeah.
has a MetaMask wallet, have minted our own NFTs and have sold them.
Fantastic.
So that's why we call ourselves purely a tech B school. It enables you to do all of that. And you can't stay away from technology. Web3 is next big thing, in my opinion. And I think all of us are pretty much well occupied to take any opportunity that comes up.
Very nice. And I love this kind of peer-to-peer learning component also, that, of course, you have these great practitioners who are coming in, but also seems that you just took that initiative with one of your classmates that, okay, I am enthusiastic about this topic, and I think this is the next big thing. So I would love to educate my class, and the class came in together.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. And what about some other things that you remember, like some other highlights from your own time here?
I think what also helped me was that I would interact with with the teams here, right? The admissions team, growth team, I'm in PlaceCom. I learn from the industry. The people who are working here are the, one of the best in the industry, and they teach me a lot. I just learn them. I just interact with them a lot. I observe them a lot. So there are certain things that they're doing right to make this place better, right? To make this place the best business school out there, right? So that also helped me a lot. From growth team, I would go up to them and learn digital marketing.
Right.
Right. During my creator challenge, I would take their help. Right. So that would help me a lot. And, I would reach out to, careers team, because they are anyways doing outreach every single day.
Yes.
And that would help me, to gain different skills like public speaking, right?
Very interesting. So then, your course started in June, and we're right now sitting in March. And now my understanding is that you've already cracked a phenomenal off-campus opportunity for yourself.
Yeah.
So tell me a bit about the process. How long was the process? What is this opportunity? So tell us everything.
Yeah. So I got placed at Hike
Okay.
in founder's office.
Mm-hmm.
The process was almost a month long,
Okay.
and Hike has a very deep interview process.
Mm-hmm.
Like they would get to know everything about you through
Hmm.
that process. Usually they have 5 rounds, but I would say I had almost 7-8 calls with them.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
7 to 8 calls?
Yeah. 7-8 different interactions I've
Right.
had, and I'd start from the beginning. So the first call was an explanatory call, with the HR, and they discussed, my alignment with the role, about the company, and all of that, right? And then they gave me the assignment. So it was a simulation which I had to do in 48 hours, and there were
Okay.
3 things I had to do: calendar management, email management, and competitor analysis. And I had to do it in 48 hours. Imagine I'm attending classes in the day and pulling all-nighters
Wow.
and completing those assignments. So I got done with the assignment at 1 p.m. Right? And I had to, reply back to that email that, this is my assignment, please find attached, all of that. But I thought, what we are taught at Masters Union is that you have to stand apart, right? So I wrote a very creative, impressionable email to HR.
Okay.
Like I put GIFs also there,
Mm-hmm.
just some funny GIFs, and it was a calculated risk that, the Hike is always, it is into Web3. So a young culture, a startup culture. So by now I had, sort of made that image that, okay, this is something that I can do, and wrote a very impressionable email, which was received well. Like the next day I got a call from the HR, Tunisha, and she said, I hope you're well rested and not caffeinated anymore. Right. So all of that came from that email, just to, make sure that we are in the starting of the process, and they would remember me out of, X number of applications that they're receiving.
Yes, absolutely.
For the next overall process.
The fact that she was quoting parts of your email,
Yeah.
definitely she remembered you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that was very helpful, right? And my call was set up with the chief of staff Anish there for the next day. It was majorly about my strengths and weaknesses, but the assignment killed the competition for me, I think, in my opinion, because
it's a very coveted, like, chief of staff to the Hike team. That's like a big thing.
Yeah. So he, said that one of the best assignments that they've received till date,
Wow.
and the amount of effort that has been put in, वो दिख रहा था, right? So I think that really played out well for me, and they were impressed with the tools that I used to make those assignments. At the
What were
tools
some of
that
the tools that you used?
So I used pitch.com to make my presentations, and at that time Hike was, exploring pitch.
Interesting.
In fact, when I suggested in my calendar management pitch deck, I suggested, these are some tools that you should use. And so Hike careers page is on Notion.
Okay.
Right. So I personally use Notion for my calendar
I think
management.
for those of you who don't know, Vibhor is the one who's literally brought Notion to all of his cohort, and
Yeah.
he's been the Notion Nazi, so to say. Ki everybody should be using Notion, and huge power user of Notion, so to say.
Yeah. So I manage my calendar on Notion.
Right.
So I wrote to them that, I know Hike likes Notion, and I do too. So it's a match made in heaven, right? And I sent them my calendar link also, that this is how I manage my calendar,
Right.
and this is how I plan to do it. Right. So I was bombarding them with all of the things I've done before,
Right.
and which I currently do.
But you had a lot of things that you'd done before, because I don't think it was that 48 hours or 24 hours that you did that assignment. It's probably the journey that you had before that, where you were already building your personal branding, portfolio, or using all these tools. So I think it's like you were preparing for that D-Day, just not knowing that it's waiting for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have been using these tools to my advantage, right? Why I was able to do all of these things, you mentioned, being in PlaceCom, interacting, all the assignments also. And I've taken all the subjects, all credits till now.
Wow.
With the outclass components
Right.
and everything. I never missed single credit till now.
Huh.
Right. So you have an option, by the way. You can just simply cut the course in half and you can stretch it.
Correct.
But I took all the courses because I wanted the maximum learning out of the course. Right. So I was able to do all of that because I was using these tools like
Right.
calendar management, note management, file management,
Hmm.
task management, right? All of these tools together helps you, to reach just another level of productivity.
Correct.
It's like a second brain that you have built for yourself
Hmm.
that helps you achieve things,
Right.
right? So you don't have to do all of those.
Hmm.
So that helped me with the assignment as well.
Hmm.
And after that, my call with the with chief of staff Anish went well, and the next interview was set up, the technical round, on a Sunday, and that was supposed to be 1 hour.
Hmm.
That went on for 2.5 hours.
Oh my God, 2.5 hours
Yeah.
of technical interview.
Yeah, and we deep dived into my past 3 experiences
Hmm.
and every single line of my resume, and just uncovering it layer by layer by
Hmm.
layer, just to understand what my profile is about. Like, they put
Wow.
in so much effort
Hmm.
to understand who I am as a
Hmm.
person, right? That was a beautiful thing, because I have never been through or I have never observed such a great process anywhere else.
That also shows how critical this role and whosoever they were bringing in, like they were being so mindful, makes me think that this was a really important add-on to their team, and they were being very thoughtful about it, because such senior people putting in time to really go through every line of your resume, that speaks volume about how impressed they were with you, I guess.
I think they do it with every single candidate.
Wow.
Every single candidate, because the culture at Hike is phenomenal. Like, they just put in efforts. They like to build products with a smaller team. They have never fired anyone because of COVID or anything else, right? We see in startups firing left, right, and center, but Hike has never done that, and Hike gave highest increments in January.
Wow. At a
Right?
time where
Yeah,
the market outside was
that
not doing
speaks
so
a lot
great.
about the company itself.
Yeah. Right. That's very impactful.
So that was my technical round, went on for 2.5 hours, and cleared that. Moved on to another round with the communications vice president there, Karan Chadha. And that was again, a behavioral situational questions. Tell me about a time, and went well. I think went well, and they have a high code which has 9 principles,
Okay.
right, which the company follows, and they see your alignment with those, right? So that I was able to clear that as well. Then moved on to my one of the final rounds with Kavin Bharti Mittal, who's the founder of Hike. Right? And that also went, I think my communication round also exceeded by half an hour, and my final round with Kavin also exceeded half an hour. Right? And he, in fact, I think 2 hours, if I remember correctly. He spent he also deep dived into my profile, and what the work I've done previously at my family business, and we discussed a lot about business levers, and we went through P&L of my business, right? So he wanted to judge, I think, my understanding of a business, right? Because I'm entering a very crucial role
Correct.
in the company, so my understanding of a business should be as perfect as it gets. So that was overall experience of the interview, and then cleared that as well. Moved on to the final reflection call. So the team put in a document together of a reflection document of the process overall, my strengths, my potential areas of improvement, and my way forward. So
Wow.
imagine senior leadership taking out the time to put in a document for every single candidate,
Right.
of their strengths and areas of improvement, and what is their way forward in the company. Right? We discussed all
Wow.
of that, and they wanted my input on how I would approach them, how open I am to feedback, and what are
Right.
the areas of improvement, and how do you plan to tackle them in the company itself, right? They're open to that, right? So
No, it
that
sounds
was
like a phenomenal work culture.
yeah, absolutely. And did that as well, and then finally went with the final call with the HR, and received the offer within 2 hours of confirmation.
Wow. That's really, really impressive. So before, I want to back up a little bit here. So I know for a fact that in India we have a very active placecom, we have a career team, we have the placement team, who are there's that traditional B school placement process, which is followed in most leading business schools here in India. And I know for a fact that Masters Union also brings in a lot of career opportunities for their students. So what made you go out of your way and look out for yourself?
Meg, I remember distinctively first placement town hall,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we were given this placement handbook as well, which mentions this,
Okay.
that we were told that Indian way of placement and the global way of placement, that the differences between those, the Indian way is just not optimized for the students. It is optimized for the companies
Interesting.
because it enforces a blanket structure to the students, right? You may be, the company requirement is 2+ years of work ex, right? Your 2+ years, someone else's 5+ years, but they'll offer the same CTC to each and every candidate, whoever comes in, right? Now, another point is that on campus, I think maximum companies would come in would be 200, 300. That as as big as it gets. But there are thousands of lakhs of companies out there which are hiring.
Right.
So we were told that, why would you rely on us bringing companies here that is only like 300, and you would have certain aspirations of companies, right? You would want to apply other places. So we were told to do that, to follow the global way of placements and we were told to map our skills, our aspirations with, and figure out 5 different companies that we want to apply to. And that happens on day one, right? You start from there and you start looking out for companies, your aspirations, your alignment with different roles.
Right.
And that's when, I also started my journey to go through the global way of placements as well, and use Indian way of placements as a backup.
Interesting. So you had a placement town hall, and this was done with, I think, your founder, like the founder
Yes.
of Masters Union, which
Pratham
is
took
Pratham
it,
Mittal.
yes.
So himself taking that town hall to mentor the students about how do you follow that global approach. That's impressive. And what was there in that handbook? You said there was some handbook.
Yeah.
What was that handbook? How did you use it?
Our whole journey of placements, right, from day one till we get placed.
Interesting.
And a lot of it is inspired by Harvard Business School and other top B schools. And it mentions everything. How do you network with people, right, with the industry leaders? How do you network with the CXOs that are coming in?
Yes.
Right. And not just limit to those, like reach out to different companies, to HRs, build connections. And that's how it works in America, all of those other places, but not in India. Indian system is optimized for the companies.
So I think it's beautiful how you actually took that handbook with you, and you took it to your heart, to that I'm going to find out what are my strengths. And because like that's what I was trying to it seemed amazing that you found something which so perfectly fit in with your skill set, like to the point that they use Notion the way you use, and very few people are using it yet. So that kind of match could not have come without you being so mindful of the entire process. And how did the career preparation team or the placement team, so to say, did you get help from them, given this was off-campus opportunity, or what kind of resources were you able to tap back in Masters Union then?
Absolutely. I think careers team have always been here to help me, even throughout the process also, right? So every week we have submissions, every week we have preparation classes specifically for placements, right? From technical to behavioral as well. Right? Every week we will have different kind of sessions, interview prep, domain excellence, right? All of those stuff. And that happens from term one itself. In fact, LinkedIn, that's where it all started. In the term one, we were told to build a good LinkedIn profile, and they helped us with all of it end to end, right? So we have been groomed by the careers team here, just to make sure that we are appealing to every single recruiter out there. And I think the placement preparation that happens at Masters Union is way above in terms of quality. The students are, working day in and day out while going through academics, outclass challenges, and doing placement prep.
Fantastic, because I feel that that's where it's very unique, right? That in 6-8 months, your transformation's happening, and you're talking to the recruiter in a different manner, you're approaching him in a different manner, and you're able to go ahead and crack an offer yourself, negotiate for yourself and everything, while being empowered by some of these best practices that have been given to you, etc. So that sounds like a great way to be ready for the final day. You can't be ready for the marathon on the day of the marathon, right? The practice
Absolutely.
goes on for a while before that. Fantastic. So, before I know we don't want to disclose the offer because of course there's NDA with the company, but give us some sense on what are the components of the offer and whatever you can share.
I would say there are 4 components: fixed, variable ESOPs, and variable ESOPs.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about this chief of staff role? Because I've also seen that at Masters Union, a lot of students have been able to crack chief of staff roles in these very critical companies. But what does a chief of staff do, or what is he or she expected to do?
Consider it as a communication layer between the founder and the company.
Okay.
And everything that founder does is also what you do, right?
Mhm.
So you have to do program management, you have to do stakeholder management, you have to do strategy, you have to do marketing, you have to do finance. So you're a generalist of sorts that has to do everything that is required from him. He or she has to be an executor, and whatever comes your way, you have to do it. And that's how we have also been trained here at Masters Union. We are offered a lot of breadth, and we are able to exploit that. We are able to grab those different skills via our out-class challenges, via our in-class, all the courses, right? So all of those skills, and the world needs generalists, right? World needs generalists because you have to be an executor at the end of the day. You have to get things done. And that's what you do in a founder's office role. You just shadow the founder itself, and you are in all of these meetings, very, very, very influential role, right?
Right.
You are in all of those meetings, and you have to interact with all the directors, all the senior management of the company, and you have to make sure that everything is on track. You have to make sure that company is running in an efficient way. The founder is most productive throughout the day. So you have to make sure that everything end to end is just perfect. And that's your role. Is anything and everything that comes your way, you have to be ready to do it.
Wow, that sounds like a very important role. Like, it's like almost being when the founder has to depend on someone, you're going to be that person at Hike.
Yeah.
Where you'll have context on what's going on and what needs to be done when, what are the KPIs, or what kind of stakeholders, or what's the expectation from different stakeholders. So it does sound like a very critical career defining role, and I think a lot of learning through such a role, right? When you are reporting to someone as smart as your founder, then the growth that you'll hopefully see itself would be class apart.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy for you. And when do you start, Vibhor?
Next week.
You start next week?
Yeah.
I thought you still have some time on campus, and I thought you still have some classes remaining in this terms.
Yeah, but I was able to, as I mentioned that I took all the credits possible, so most of my credits are done, and I can join next week. They want me to join this week. I was like, I'm still in the middle of the term.
Right.
I'll probably join after this term ends, and then that's why I start next week. And it's a completely remote job. The company is remote.
Okay.
So I'll be here on campus, working from campus, and taking all the help possible.
Fantastic. And I love that that flexibility of you having completed your credits, so you're actually able to. I know there's some cutoff period that you have at Masters Union beyond which you can join. So that also, I think, helps the student discover their role early on, and start leveraging all the learnings that he or she had at Masters Union. Great. So any last message that you have for your fellow cohorts, because it's still early in the placement season, though the numbers are looking great already. I don't want to reveal too much because we'll have a separate placement, podcast once the placements are done. But any message for your current cohorts or for future incoming students?
So for the current cohort, I would say, make Indian way of placements as your backup. Just really focus on the global way of placements. That's how you're able to crack the roles you like, the companies you like. And there are only certain number of companies that can come on campus, right? Tesla would not probably, go to any campus in India.
They don't have a campus
Yeah.
placement process.
They don't have a campus placement. So you just go and apply it. And
Right.
we have been taught, we have been groomed in a way that you have to, just do something extraordinary, stand out, right? And we have our ways. It's mentioned in the placement handbook. Just follow that. Just follow that to the T, and make sure that you're taking all the pointers, and that's how you get it done. That's how I think that will ensure that we beat numbers years after years, right? So I think I would suggest all my fellow peers to focus on the global way of placements and apply roles of their liking, their alignment.
Yeah, don't be like a cookie cutter where it's just the roles that are coming through the campus, but also finding that niche which truly speaks to you as a
Yes.
person and to your skill sets. Very,
Yes.
very helpful. And for your future classmates or people who are considering Masters Union.
Absolutely. I think I would say it's a great place to be, first of all, because another thing which I forgot to mention was that this role was in a way perfectly crafted because as I mentioned, we were building this community of Web3, but the venture initiation program we talked about, VIP, wherein we had to build a startup as an academic
Right.
project. So we deep dived into different industries, right? And after that, I realized the gaming numbers are awesome. So it was an opportunistic view wherein I decided to build in gaming itself,
Interesting.
right? And we started with that. And after 1 month, we realized, okay, this is not going to work. Let's pivot within gaming, right? So we started building a wager-based gaming application for AAA games.
Okay.
And imagine what Hike is doing. They're building
Tell us more.
games, a wager-based gaming platform of hyper-casual games on blockchain.
Are you serious? And that was almost what you were trying to do in your second
in
pivot?
the academic project, yes.
Oh my God.
So like gaming and Web3,
Right.
right? Both of them together.
Hmm.
And the role of my liking, which is the founder's office,
Right.
right? So all of it is actually, perfect for me.
Hmm.
The company, the role, the industry, the product.
And that venture initiation program just beautifully helped you discover it. That,
That
this is the industry that you feel is the right one for you.
That helped me, go through that process, just
Right.
clear it easily.
Hmm.
Because I had industry numbers on my fingers.
Hmm.
They were also, sort of impressed by the industry knowledge I came
Yes,
with.
absolutely. Because you don't expect that from someone who's not part of the industry, and you were not part of this industry before in your journey.
So
Very
a normal
fascinating.
person would not know a difference between AAA games and a hyper casual game, right?
Hmm.
But
I
someone-
don't.
Someone who's coming from a gaming background would
Right.
know that, right? What is a wager-based platform, right? I knew that we were trying to build something like that,
Hmm.
something of very similar but for AAA games.
Hmm.
And what Hike has done is it's a beautiful product. I love it.
Hmm.
I'm right now the embodiment of love the company, which we are taught from the beginning.
Absolutely.
But I truly do like their app is phenomenal. They're doing everything right possible, and I think they're on the way to do something crazy in the gaming industry.
Fantastic. And I love how Masters Union is enabling that culture where you might come from a different background completely. And I'm not saying that there's any magic wand here,
Yeah.
but at least they empower you that if you want that magic wand, you can create that magic wand for yourself and pivot into a role, into an industry where you were not there previously, but you had that clarity, Vibhor, that, this is the kind of thing I want. And you kept building blocks on top of it, which is showing now in the outcome that you got for yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's the message this podcast should send out, right? That if you are looking for that change, then you can find the tools to make that change happen. And if you have that within you. So I think this is incredibly helpful, Vibhor, both for, I think, our current students and for future students
I'll
who
share
apply.
one more
Please do.
story with you. So we were given the placement handbook, right?
Mhm.
And उसमें numbers होते, right? Starting ki these are the type of roles and these are the average CTC, right? So I saw ki chief of staff and Web3 highest. Okay, I don't have a passion. Like I don't know that. Okay, this is what I want to do. But I was like, you will find that passion when you're working, right? So it was again opportunistic mindset, and okay, highest salary, Web3, chief of staff. I was like, okay, great. Role decided, industry decided. on the first in the
Are you
first.
serious? That's how you decided that?
That's how I
Wow.
decided, and you see today I am in those roles.
Right.
Yeah, so I decided on in the first week. Okay, so this has the highest salary,
Yeah.
and let's just focus on these. Even if you don't make it, that's fine. But why not prepare for them? Since you don't have a per se interest in these or in this or that or marketing or finance. But I was like, chief of staff seems good. I'm someone who is a generalist who's been running a family business where you have to do every single role,
Correct.
marketing, finance. So it's like, this seems like a role that has alignment with my previous experience
Correct.
also. And I am someone who's always fascinated about new tech. So I was like, Web3, this makes sense. Why not I learn it over here? And Masters Union gave me that opportunity to learn Web3, right?
And you didn't know anything about Web3 before coming in?
Yeah. Very, very minimal,
Very minimal
exposure, yes.
Wow. That's very inspiring how you really use these 8 months to your benefit. And I've of course been part of Masters Indian team almost in August. So I've seen you being omnipresent is how I look at Vibhor. He's part of just everything possible. And you still, did all of that and then, got a great offer. So I am a true fan of what you're doing. And I think I'm rooting for you as you go on and change lives within Hike and impact the world in a very beautiful way. So good luck, and that's it. Yeah, thank you.
Very kind of you to say. Thank you so much for hosting me, Mehak.
You're very welcome, and good luck.
Thank you.